Folks, welcome to the battlefield of Total War Warhammer 2. Oh my goodness. I'm begging you, please watch this video to the end. Not to help my channel or something else like that. Oh my goodness, this battle's amazing. Watch it all the way to the end, okay? Don't miss it. That's what I'm begging you here. This is an amazing FFA. Probably the best one I've ever seen. Anyway, let's check out the teams. We've got two clan wars. One is led by Sheets and the other by Horizon. The one we're looking at right here is the one led by Sheets, and the Lord is Skrolk. He's got a Hell Pit Abomination, a couple of Plague Claws, and a whole bunch of Clan Rats mixed in with a couple of specialty units out on the flanks, like some Death Runners that are supporting. So that's Skrolk. Skrolk has his Rod of Corruption, obviously, and he also has a Plague spell. I don't remember the exact name of it, but where the rat comes up out of the ground, you know, doing his little thing. Over here, we're going to have the Dark Elf team led by Athena's Chosen, and he's got some Sisters of Slaughter and the Blades of the Blood Queen mixed in with the Chill of Sontar and a War Hydra along with a Blood Rack Medusa on a shrine, and that is supporting Marathi and a Master as well as a Death Hag that is right down there in the mix. So a tiny but potent army from the Dark Elves. And then as for Horizon, his army is led by none other than Queek Headtaker, who was not present in our last big Skaven event, so Queek will be represented here, actually leading Clan Wars. He's got himself a Hell Pit Abomination, though he has a line of Storm Vermin with Halberds and some Rat Ogres, Poison Wind Globadiers, and some Warp Lightning Cannon here, as well as, I believe he has an Avalanche Mortar, yep, right there. And as for the Drown, they are led by Silostra. And Silostra does have Vangeist Revenge, which is the insane breath spell. She has two Damned Paladins helping her. Those are going to provide some very nice support. And then as for infantry, Deckhand Mob, Sirens, Depth Guard, and then there's some polearm troops and handguns in the back, along with some, I believe these are Prometheans, right? Or no, sorry, Animated Hulks. Animated Hulks, the Prometheans, the crabs, I believe. Anyway, let's get this thing started. It is going to be an amazing fight all the way to the finish, which will have multiple changes in who controls the leaderboard and leave you guessing to the very end. I promise you that. So as we're playing this, we're going to get things started here with the Skaven Artillery Barrage on two pretty expensive units of High Elf Infantry, so they should be able to get some decent points early on. So you can see Sheets jumping out to an early lead as he hits the Sisters of Slaughter and the occasional hit on the Blades of the Blood Queen. Though the Blood Queens, or the Blades of the Blood Queen, are not taking tremendous damage just yet, and the Skaven are going to not enjoy fighting this army. Even with the Hell Pit Abomination, this is going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess of terror and other problems that are going to really create a lot of potential issues here for the Skaven. A Pit of Shades goes off right away on one of the artillery units. You can see here in the background that the Knights and Silostra is making her way in. And, oh boy. Yeah, things are about to get interesting for the first big change of the battle. Look at Silostra from the woods with Vangeist Revenge, dropping the big one here all over the Skaven line. So the Skaven just get decimated, utterly decimated. 264 kills, rocketing Iron Belt into first place, but Sheets, despite taking the beating, is also dishing a beating and jumps right back in front. So right off the start here, the first three players into the fight were jumping back and forth on the leaderboard, but right now Sheets dealing the most damage and is, or sorry, Sheets, I'll just call him Sheets. He's pulling ahead. I said Sheets, probably one Sheets, I don't know. Anyway, Sheets is what we're going to call him. So Sheets pulls ahead, and the slog fight over here continues against the Hell Pit Abomination. Really, the Hell Pit Abomination doesn't have a whole lot of great chance. These Poison Wind Globadiers, though, can get some good work done if they can stand here and just keep reining it in. It is armor piercing, and Skrolk is going to come support, though he needs to be careful. If he could get a Liber Bubonicus in here, yep, which is exactly what he does. But he gets knocked so far away, I don't know how much effect it's going to have. It didn't get all these characters over here, I don't believe. So Skrolk is coming back in, trying to solve this, and meanwhile, Silostra and her army are coming in from the flank, making sure they are on the scoreboard, but the Dark Elf player is still hanging in the scoreboard, and it's about to get better, because Queek's army has now arrived on scene. and is also about to get involved in, like I said, probably the craziest FFA I have ever seen. This is going to really define the genre of FFA. Anyway, some of the units are routing for Sheets, but he has cemented a pretty good lead on the board. However, having been beaten back fairly significantly, his point climb will probably be expected to slow some, and now the Dark Elves turn their attention while the Drowned are moving through the woods, finishing off some Skaven leftovers. Marathi doesn't want to wait. She is a glutton, and she wants more rat deaths. So here she comes, the Poison Wind mortar, or sorry, the Avalanche mortars opening up on her. But there is a Warp Lightning Cannon supporting here as well. Skaven, although they will take some initial heat here, are going to be dishing some intense damage, but you can see Athena's Chosen will start to gain some points back, and Horizon will start to get on the board as he starts to do some damage, having to have walked across the map. Here comes Silostra and her army, though, not wanting to sit this one out. You can see them positioning, and check it out, folks. Right after the Pit of Shades, the Skaven are once again going to feel the wrath of the Van Geist Revenge. I'll try and get you a beautiful view here as a line of Storm Vermin are just absolutely crumped by Silostra, who now has 375 kills. Goodness knows how many chevrons that would translate to after just wrecking a whole line of Storm Vermin. So that puts Sheets right back, or sorry, Iron Belt right back on top of Sheets, but Athena's Chosen is killing so many of Horizon's men that he is now almost back on top as well. So it is a just straight out run in the top three here, only separated by a few dozen points at the moment. And it is an all-out brawl on every front. You can see there's some Storm Vermin who broke loose from that fight, now in trouble because they're being chased by Syrenes and animated Hulks. And then the Paladins are over here cleaning up Skaven slaves with Silostra. Meanwhile, the Dark Elf Corps has taken a beating. Both of the Hydras have now routed. I believe one has come back over here in the woods and is regaining its hit points. The Chill of Sontar will likely do the same, as no one's in a good position to pursue it. And we're going to see the scoreboard continue to be a pretty tight call, though Athena's Chosen taking a decent lead, as big a lead as we've seen, but then Horizon pops right back into it with some damage dealt here as the Hell Pit Abomination and his other units just plow into Silostra's troops. So the leaderboard has completely flipped on its head, Iron Belt from the top to the bottom, and it won't be the first time in this match that the leader is going to change in this incredibly tight and insane fight. Both Hydras are ready to come on back in, and at this point the Hell Pit Abomination has its hands full with two damned Paladins and animated Hulks and Silostra, so it is in big trouble. Athena's Chosen trying to fight his way back to the top of the leaderboard, getting his Hydras back into the action. You can hear Silostra singing in the background. Her songs are actually pretty painful. She can really, really debuff the units around here, so it is pretty bad if you're experiencing it full on. So Horizon still maintaining his lead. Sheets trying to claw his way back into the game, sending Iron Belt down to the bottom, but oh my goodness, it is close. Athena's Chosen trying to close in on 7,000, but Horizon still leading, and talk about revenge. Skrulk, back from the grave, having been beaten early, gets his revenge on Silostra with a beautiful Vortex spell that launches Sheets back into the lead. So having been hit on hard early, Sheets is back up, and Horizon jumping him right away. Folks, this is Total War. This is Total War. That's what I'm talking about. So there's a big fight back here with Skrulk's regrouped forces, and he is regrouped in enough strength to severely threaten the Drowned, and they are going to retreat. So I love how he got back here, regrouped his forces, bided his time, and honestly, the longer he does this, the better, because the Hell Pit Abomination can get some hit points if it can stay away from the black spot gunners there. So the fight between Queek and his ogres continues with Athena's Chosen, and this has Horizon on the top at the moment. He's dishing a decent bit of damage, whereas with just Queek getting knocked around, Athena's Chosen not getting a ton of points here. So Horizon at the moment has a decent lead, but look at Iron Belt here trying to claw up from the bottom, by chasing down these Poison Wind Globadiers and other things with a unit of Sirens. Their speed and terror should allow them to do quite well at what they're attempting to do. Now, this is magic ammunition here coming from the Poison Wind Globadiers, so the damned Paladin needs to get away from there quickly if he wants to continue his ethereal life, or unlife, I guess, however you want to put it. Horizon now securing the biggest lead we've seen in a while. Biggest lead we've seen in a while for sure. Queek gets KO'd, so Queek is out of the fight. Surely that is going to hurt Horizon some. He does have some units back here still, but they are all running away from the Sirens. There was a Doom Bolt called in by Morathi, which does some damage to the damned Paladin and puts Athena's Chosen right back up on top because of the damage done. And so once again, the leaderboard continues to shift. Sheets is a little lower right now, but has regrouped a considerable number of troops and appears to be setting up some type of operation here in order to try and get back in this thing. You can see a couple of pretty healthy Death Runners here. They're not visible, though I think they're going to keep their distance from those Sirens, as well they should. And back here we're going to see a Pit of Shades come down on the Black Spot Gunners as Athena's Chosen tries to pull away with the leaderboard, but Morathi is in very bad shape. One of the Hydras has healed considerably, and the Chill of Sontar has healed as much as it can at the moment. And the Warp Lightning Cannon has been recrewed here, and look at this, the Siren had been chasing all these units, is now crumbling, probably because of some hits from the Poison Wind Globadiers and the Avalanche Mortars, both of which have magical ammunition, and the Sirens are going to crumble and be gone. So Athena's Chosen now with a decent lead, but how long can they hang on? They're being surrounded now by the troops of Silostra. See her moving in from all directions to surround the Dark Elves, looking to come in and get some points for the Drown. And you can see the Skaven back here taking pot shots, trying to get everything they can. A Bloodrack Shrine came back. It is not a unit that heals like the War Hydra, however. And the Dark Elf main force here finally succumbs to overwhelming force, and it just can't hang on. And you can see Horizon back here taking cheap shots with the cannon and getting some much-needed points for himself, as Athena's Chosen's lead on the board now stretches to 1,300 points, but how long can it last with most of his army gone? You can see now is the time for Skrulk to make his move, so Sheets comes running out of the woods, full force, attacking Silostra's deckhand mobs from behind, and now bringing in the threat from a new direction and forcing Silostra's attention to change. And this allows, potentially, for the War Hydra to get over here for Athena's Chosen and continue to dish up some damage to an expensive Skaven unit, whereas the rest of the Dark Elf units have routed off the battlefield. Van Geist Revenge for a third time. I didn't catch this one as cinematically, but then Iron Belt rockets up the leaderboard, only 1,000 points off now from a very nice Van Geist Revenge. That is 2 Van Geist Revenge that have plagued Skrulk, and he is feeling it. And here comes the damned Knights Errant from Silostra in a key summon. You can see over here we've got Skrulk really dropping the hurt. He is a magic damage character, so he will be dealing a lot of damage in this fight, though he is surrounded by a lot of very powerful units. Look at these damned Knights Errant. It's going to be able to get over here to all these juicy targets in the woods. They do have some protection, but it is a ways off. You can see that Hell Pit Abomination has been back here healing and working its way back towards the fight. Skrulk a little bit singled out right now, but he had some Death Runners nearby, which come in and keep the Death Guard busy, and Silostra has taken a considerable amount of damage, and Athena's Chosen is looking close to giving up the lead on the board, though that Hydra is back there working hard. And look at this, Sheets has climbed back from the bottom, over 3,000 points now, and is threatening to try and get right back into this fight if Skrulk can hang on. Iron Belt now takes the lead off of Athena's Chosen, just not a lot of targets back there for the Hydra to feed on at the moment, though it's not for a lack of trying. It is chasing some Poison Wind Globadiers. You can see here the Skaven going to try and get all the points they can, but they also have to be careful. These terror-inducing units can be pretty painful here. See over here the Hell Pit Abomination able to stop the damn Knights Errant as they run out of hit points. And that Hell Pit Abomination still has a lot of healing to do if it can get the time to do it. But Skrulk is in need of some help. He's surrounded by Depth Guard, which is a unit that I would think would be chopping up some of his health. Though these Death Runners have done a pretty good job. One of them got terrified, should find its way back into the fight. They are certainly taking on some targets that they would do well to avoid if they had the opportunity. There's a Plague Claw crew here with some ammo, but they can't get to their catapult. And Skrulk finds himself caught out and in big trouble. Sheets climbing his way back up. Horizon now knocked out of the game, so he is no longer a contender because of what the Hydra did in order to keep Athena's Chosen in. And Iron Belt seems to have a pretty secure lead at the moment and is looking like potentially for the first time in this match, maybe even a favorite here. But there's quite a few Death Runners left, and Skrulk is not going down easy. This dude's a tank, and he is going to be very good versus Silostra and the Paladins. And here comes his Hell Pit Abomination. Can they do enough damage to it to overcome the healing that it's going to be doing? These Paladins will have to watch out. It's a good thing the animated Hulks are here for the Drown, because if Skrulk gets to one of these Paladins, he will drop it relatively quick. Here comes some Skaven Slave Chaff, and they are going to roll in and try and bog down the Drowned here, while one of the Death Runners attempts to get away from these animated Hulks and draw them out of the fight. Athena's Chosen, not wanting to be out of this battle, is moving the Hydra on over to come get involved in what is certainly looking like the final and epic brawl of this FFA, which has been pretty incredible. You can see here that the Hell Pit Abomination down to 1,000 hit points. Skrulk very near himself to death, but there comes in the special ability, and the Hell Pit Abomination jumps all the way up to 3,000 hit points. A sudden, huge problem for Silostra and her Drowned, who are few in number now. But Silostra herself is managing to stay safe. See the Hell Pit Abomination trying to get away from this damned Paladin, but nothing around really helps, so Skrulk is going to come over and do it. Meanwhile, the War Hydra wants a piece of Skrulk, and you can see that Paladin wants no part of this fight. No part of that fight at all. Some of the Death Runners are using the concealment bombs to get in close behind Silostra and her deckhand mobs, and Iron Belt maintains about 1,000-point lead, with Sheets and Athena's Chosen very close to each other within roughly 100 points. So it is a close one here, though the Hydra is knocked out of the fight, at least for the moment. Maybe has one more run in it, but it's going to have very low leadership to be sure. See that that damned Paladin really wants this Hell Pit Abomination dead. It still has a few hit points to heal, and every hit point could be absolutely critical here. Another concealment bomb by the Death Runners to keep them safe. There are some Skaven slaves and a Plague Claw catapult crew that are keeping themselves in the fight somehow. And Sheets is going to get another chance to try and fight his way back into this. But with these animated Hulks and polearms, along with Silostra's leadership and ability to debuff, it is going to be a pretty crazy finish here. You see the Paladin uses his speed advantage to get in and get rid of the Plague Claw catapult. Meanwhile, some nice buffering there from the Skaven slaves who took the charge of the animated Hulks. Silostra is using her Song of Enthrallment here, which is going to slow down and drop the melee attack of the Skaven, so very bad news here. However, the polearms get caught out by the Death Runners, and some of the Death Runners want to make a run on Silostra, but they get slowed down considerably, and she will be able to stay in front of them, or at least close to it at this point. She also has the ability to terrify them because she's an ethereal unit. So, some worry for Silostra, but not an insane worry. Look at this Hell Pit Abomination just tanking and tanking, where it looks like the Hydra may come back in for Athena's Chosen and try and get him back in the fight. But the leadership is very low, and the Hydra does finally break and shatter. Look at this. Very tight fight here between the Paladin. And one more last little bit of healing for the Hell Pit Abomination. There is no more healing. 13 down to 950 hit points, but takes down the Paladin. However, Skrulk is in a world of hurt right now. He gets terrified and is off the battlefield. The animated Hulks may be able to run him down if Silostra can just hold her own against a Hell Pit Abomination, and it is going to come down to the wire here. There are some Death Runners in the background making their way back into the fight at a critical moment when Skrulk has come back from being terrified, but he is in grave danger from the Hulks and the zombie pirate deckhand mob, while Silostra is locked in a duel where little is happening to both characters as they trade blows, neither one causing a ton of damage. Skrulk gets routed again. He is extremely close to being shattered, so he has to be very careful here. But the Death Runners save him just barely, and they've got a crumble going on the Deckhand Mob and the animated hooks, while the Hell Pit Abomination is down to 500 hit points, Silostra down to 500 hit points, 280 for I think it was down to 280 for Silostra, no, 357 for Silostra, that was the Hulks. More crumbling going on, Skrulk comes back, and there is a last-second brawl here. Silostra is low, the Hell Pit Abomination goes down, summons its Skaven slave spawn from within, and Silostra is left to fight all the slaves. At the same time, the Hulks go down, and it is going to be a photo finish here. Skrulk is just barely alive, fighting Silostra in one last go, and he gets her. At the very last moment, the very last moment, Sheets brings back the win by being the last man standing and defeating Silostra after having taken some devastating blows. Look at that, 524 kills to Silostra's name in an epic performance by Iron Belt with the Queen of the Drowned here, the Drowned Opera House singer. I mean, it is incredible what he did here, and then Sheets managing to bring that one back, regrouping the army, very Skaven-like, hiding away, waiting for his moment, coming in with the right timing and machinations, and getting the job done. The ever-changing leaderboard, every player held the lead at some point in this, in a crazy, crazy fight to the finish here that was probably one of the most epic, if not the most epic FFAs I've ever seen. I do hope you all watch this one to the end. Well, I don't know about you, but this has me wanting to play some more FFAs on top of some 4v4. I think I'm going to do some tabletop 4v4. I've got a couple fun little quick videos to drop in. So we got some good stuff coming your way. Stay tuned. Hey, thank you, Sheets, Iron Belt, Athena's Chosen, and Horizon. This was incredible. Absolutely incredible. What a fight. What a fight. Really enjoyed this one, and I hope you all did too. Let's look at the kills on everybody. So there's Iron Belt's kills. We've got Sheets' kills over here. Skrulk doing a pretty solid job on his own. Athena's Chosen getting some damage done with the Hydra build, and Marathi, and then Horizon here getting a lot of work done with those Warp Lightning Cannons despite the kill number. That's where he got a lot of his points, I think. And then the Avalanche Mortars did score some hits. And despite the lack of kills, I think Queek got in there and got some points too by doing some damage to some of the large single entity units from the Dark Elves. So sometimes kills can be deceiving. I wish they would put like damage dealt as one of the stats that you could see at the end. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I will be back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 content. Get down in the comments. What do you think? Most epic FFA ever? I don't know. It's got my vote. I'll see you next time.